So again, welcome and thank you for joining us. I know we may have some folks join us in the meantime, but just so you all have an idea of who it is that is speaking and what we're going to get into this evening, I'm Danny Chris. I am the Black Women's Wellness Retreat Coordinator for this year. I am joined by my roundtable staff colleagues who I'm going to allow to introduce themselves as well.
Hi, all. My name is Alex Latore. I'm the operations manager here at the Roundtable.
And my name is Kinsey Keck, and I am our programs director here at the Roundtable.
Thank you both. I also want to uplift Kimberly Olson, who is the executive director of Roundtable, who is not with us presently. And then we will also be joined by a Black Women's Wellness Retreat committee member, Lakeisha Frith, who I just see joined us, and we'll be hearing from her a little bit later. Okay, so thank you all again for joining. We have a very brief presentation with you all tonight that will hopefully answer any questions, lingering concerns you may have about the Black Women's Wellness Retreat. So let's get into it. First, we're just going to give you an overview of where we're going to go this evening and then move forth. So, of course, welcoming everyone, and that was the intros for all those who you'll be hearing from this evening. We're going to give a quick snapshot window view of what the Black Women's Wellness Retreat is in its entirety. We'll talk about this year specifically as we are now in our fourth annual retreat. A little insight of what you may be able to expect as someone who may be interested in applying or nominating someone. We will then take a small spin to get introduced to the website for a retreat that holds all of the information. You may have already visited it already to be able to register for this info session. And then we'll also review the application and the nomination form via the platform Submittable, which we use for this retreat, and get an idea of what the process may look like. And of course, we will have plenty of opportunities for question and answer, and then leaving substantial time at the end for us to discuss and have anything that you may be feeling based off of all the information you have received. All right. So that is our evening. Let's go and get into the reason that we're here. So, what is the Black Women's Wellness Retreat? Right. So this is a retreat that has come out of the branch of the advocacy work that the Roundtable does, and specifically in response to the Black Lives Matter movement in 2020 and COVID-19, alongside of just wanting to facilitate questions and figure out how this organization can best put their foot in the door for the work in the communities. And so in terms of the theme of rebuild, reconcile, and reimagine, there has been a list of demands centering Black women's leadership in arts education that Roundtable advocates for. I highly recommend checking out the work if you're not familiar with it via the website. And this particular dream and seed came out of those conversations. And so now we are in the fourth year of the Black Women's Wellness Retreat. This retreat is a crafted retreat for those who identify as Black women, and specifically Black women in the sector of the arts and arts education. That is a free retreat, keyword free retreat, for all those who identify and are interested in attending and specifically go through the process of application or nomination. And we are able to provide spots for at least 40 participants, but we know this year we're able to increase that number, which we are really excited about with our efforts. And we push this information out to, of course, arts educators, artists of all ages and experiences, and definitely leave space for our elders who have impacted the arts education world and have spots for them as well through our nomination process. This has been a weekend for attendees and participants to get away together, have the opportunity to define wellness for themselves, and have the space to connect, heal, grow, feel safe, brave, and most importantly, have fun. This retreat is coordinated and led up by the Roundtable staff, which most of us are here today, alongside of a committee of Black women in the arts education sector. So again, our peers who are helping to each year craft what the retreat looks like with intention and with care and with response to what is happening in the field at this time, so that we may be able to handle and curate and best settle ourselves in wellness based on what we feel like is needed for our community at this time. And so it can be a mix of workshops, it can be a mix of leisure time, it can be a mix of celebration and party. It could also just be an opportunity for folks to be in community with each other and learn, grow, and perhaps make more connections. Okay. Forward. And yeah, I hit that one too. So as mentioned before, this is our 4th year going into the Black Women's Wellness Retreat. Each year is always a different year. And so specifically the year of 2024, we will be hosting our retreat at the Garrison Institute. Our retreat weekend is held this year, February, Friday, September 6th. For the weekend through Sunday, September 8th. So the first weekend, full weekend in September, we will be taking off to the Garrison Institute. We will be traveling to the Institute, which is in Garrison, New York, via the Metro North Railroad. We invite those who are attendees to travel as a group via the Metro North provided by Roundtable to and fro the location, and we have arrangements to get us from the train station to the site. But folks who are interested are also able to arrange their own accommodations at their own expenses and organization. And each retreat attendee is provided accommodations for the weekend, which includes a private room, a shared bathroom, and many community spaces in which they can define their leisure, connect with other folks, and perhaps host workshops that we may have in there. So just sharing a bit more about the Garrison Institute. So the Garrison Institute is a former monastery that is a historic site in the upstate of New York. And so you will see many references to its origin story, but it is a full private retreat center that hosts many groups and conferences on the year out. But we will have the opportunity to be exclusive at the Institute this year. They have wheelchair accessibility on the first floor, and we'll have other additional assistance for folks who may need any special accommodations around moving on the campus. In terms of spatial accommodations, all of the common spaces are located on the first floor, and in common spaces, which be any shared spaces that we would host any retreat workshops in. All residential spaces will be on the 2nd and 3rd floor of the building, and they are only accessible by stairs. But for those who may need special assistance or are unable to access stairs for any particular reason, there is minimal housing, specifically 2 to 3 rooms that we would be able to accommodate folks for those needs if they so arise. Okay, and just to note that the Garrison Institute is a pretty substantial sized institute with lots of land nearby to the Hudson River. And so there are a lot of outdoor spaces for which we encourage you to explore if you are attending the retreat, but noting that they are not as accessible as the indoor properties. Okay. So, a bit of what could you expect at the retreat, right? Does this experience mean? What do these 3 days offer to all those who attend? And so, we wanted to take an opportunity to have another window perspective of what that could be. And so, I am going to invite Lakeisha Frith to the floor to give a personal testimonial for her experience at the retreat. And I will also let her introduce herself and share all about her time.
Thank you, Danny. I'm Lakeisha Frith from Miami, Florida. I'm the Director of Education at the Adrian Arch Center, and I started, can you guys hear me okay? So I'm in a different space. I have attended the retreat since the first year in 2021. So it was a big change for me, being from the city of Miami and going to upstate New York and being out in nature. And what drew me to it was at that time, the stress of everything going on with the pandemic, with all of the changes that were happening in the world. And I attended a workshop that the New York City Arts and Education Roundtable had and found out about this retreat. So one of the things I love, I'm a big word person, so wellness. One of the definitions I found is wellness is an active process of becoming aware of and making choices towards a healthy and fulfilling life. It is more than being free from illness. It is a dynamic process of change and growth. It is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. And so that really resonated with me. And what stuck out to me were active choices, change, and growth. So that first retreat that we were out in nature in the Hudson River, and we connected with other like-minded Black women that were all in part of the arts or arts education from all different ages and all different walks of life, and being able to do as much or as little as we wanted. So we spent some time connecting with each other. We also went on a really long walk. There was an opportunity to have a mental health therapy session in addition to being out in nature. And then through the years, there have been more arts integrated wellness activities. So we had art therapy, we had Afro yoga. The past 2 years, we talked about our finances. So when I think about wellness being the whole person, taking care of yourself from the inside out and having those 3 days to just focus on yourself and not what's happening at work and not what's happening at home with your family or with the kids. Being out and being out of the city, like New York City or all of any city that you may be from, and taking some time and reconnecting with yourself and thinking about what your goals are, for your body, for your life, being able to move, to journal, I think is just so important. So for me, the nature was a big part of it. Every year, just being out and getting that fresh air and taking that time to kind of reshift and focus. I love to write poetry, so I like to write haiku when I'm out there. And then meeting new people and making some new friends and learning about what they have going on and taking time to think about my mental health and my well-being, which is, I feel like since that first year is something that is now more present in my life. I could say I was a person that was just like, go, go, go. And how many things can I sign up for? How many activities? How can I be on this board or this committee? And now it's kind of like, well, what capacity do I have for that? And where am I in that, putting myself when it comes to all of those responsibilities. So for me, wellness has become a big priority. And I think that that is one of the best things about this workshop is that this weekend, excuse me, that you can do as much or as little as you would like to do. But I encourage you to try everything so that you can see what you can apply back to your life. So some people have met therapists, some people have met the fitness and Afro yoga instructor and continued with that. Some people have connected with different facilitators that we've had with finances. So it keeps going. We stay connected with each other, but also connected with the facilitators that have presented at these retreats. And that picture of Latanya, her beautiful smile, just makes me so happy. So she's been there since year one. And the woman in cream, gathered us and got everybody together about their finances. So everybody was relaxed. And then she's like, well, now we're going to talk about your finances. And are you saving? And are you getting ready for retirement? And some things that as artists, we may not have front and center. So I think it helps you to think about it, to think about your life in a different way, and then how you're going to move forward. So I've been very grateful. I attended the first year, and the last 2 years I was on the planning committee, and it's just been just amazing what I've learned and meeting all of the new people and working with the New York City Arts and Education Roundtable. So thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much, Lakeisha. Such a beautiful testimonial and a great snapshot to your experience, but the experience of the retreat as a whole over the last few years. So as we're thinking about more of what we can expect, we may have some additional questions, right? So we have a few frequently asked questions, or FAQs for short, that we would love to share. And we want to note that there will be additional questions and answers that are listed on the website that at your leisure you can take some time to review over. So first and foremost, I really want to attend the retreat. How much does it cost? The reminder that the retreat is free for participants. All housing, accommodations, food, travel to and from New York City to Garrison, New York is covered by the Roundtable. Can I apply and attend the retreat if I live outside of New York City? I think Lakeisha is a testament to that for sure, that yes, for sure you can attend the retreat. We just want to note that you have to arrange your personal accommodations to New York City. And then once you are in the city, you are then covered by Roundtable. So, and we've had participants, I would say maybe across 6 states that have attended over the course of the year. So for sure, we are expanding and reaching out our net that works. So for sure, if you are out of state or know someone who may be interested that is out of state, they are more than welcome to apply. Can I attend the retreat if I've gone in previous years? Yes, you can. We acknowledge that year to year, the toll and labor that Black women hold and face doesn't just wither away after one retreat session. So we very much encourage you to come back. Um, if if you are a returning applicant, just note that that does not guarantee your acceptance by any means. And that we look at all applications equally, regardless if they are new applicants or nominations or new or returning applicants or nominees. Everyone is, we're just looking at all of the applications in full. And we do also want to acknowledge that for folks who have attended before, that there is a 5-year acceptance cap for the amount of times at this time that you can attend the retreat in consecutive years. Okay. The many people we can serve, the better. As we're thinking about the retreat, it's a whole weekend, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What is the pace of this retreat? Are there things that I am required to be at all the time? Is it just a whole bunch of downtime? I will say that the itinerary, which again is crafted by the retreat committee of our peers, will be a mix of group workshops, outdoor activities, communal wellness, and again, a space to define wellness for yourself and others. So we have had facilitators both in person and virtual to administer 45-minute to an hour and a half workshops. There is plenty of time for folks to explore the site or campus in which we are on. There are activities sometimes provided by the group that folks can choose to step in and step out. And then there are also group functions that we encourage everyone to attend. So there will be a mix just based on the intentionality of the weekend. What if my application is not accepted? I want to acknowledge that as many Black women as we would love to serve, we only have but so many spots. And with the exposure of the wellness retreat, which we love, we also have to acknowledge that we cannot serve everybody at one time, but we do want to uplift the aspect that sometimes folks get accepted and they may not be able to attend. So what we have curated is what we call a standby list. And so if you are someone who receives a letter that says at this time they are unable to have their application accepted, they are also invited to join what is known as our standby list, which means that you are able to commit to that weekend in your schedule. You know that you are going to be open, you are available, and really committed to wanting to take part in this experience. Then you can sign your name up for that standby list, and that standby list is contacted on a first come first served basis up until our deadline. Where if we have an opening vacancy, then we will be sure to contact you as soon as possible to allow you to confirm or deny whether or not you're able to accept the new spot, and then we will go from there on the first pass, just so you know. So there are opportunities, and if that doesn't happen, you can always apply for the 5th annual Black Women's Wellness Retreat for sure. So from there, we are going to take some time to review first our website, which gives us a home for all of this information that we have been sharing and more. And we're just going to go through a small little tour on how you may be accessing some of the information that you need. So from here, I'm going to turn it over to Alex.
Thanks, Danny.
Of course.
Let Kinsey take a moment to switch us over to the website. So this is our main Black Women's Wellness Retreat website. If you land on our homepage, you can access it by clicking on the events menu up top. And it highlights pretty much everything you need to know in terms of attending this year's retreat. Thanks for demoing that, Kinsey. So as you scroll down, you'll note that we try to highlight all of the necessary information really, really clearly. So the application is currently open. The next important date is that application deadline. As you scroll down, you can learn more about the history of the retreat. Then we highlight these information sessions taking place this week. And then we cover some of the information that is being covered during this session, but it's all here in writing for you to refer back to at your leisure. Scrolling down a little bit more, you'll note that we have a nomination form and an application form. And here we also link to Google Doc versions of these applications. My colleague Kinsey will be going over these further, but you should note that those Google Doc versions are not the application, like where you submit the application. They're just a tool to help you prepare your application in advance. Scrolling further down, we provide additional location information, which is not too far north from New York City. And last but not least, we cover a lot of FAQs, as well as provide contact information for if you have any additional information. I can note that retreat@nycaieroundtable.org email address does go to our retreat coordinator, Danny. So it is a really useful thing to keep handy. I definitely encourage going through the FAQs, some of which were covered here today, but others that provide more detailed information. And the last kind of link I'll highlight is if you scroll up just a little bit to the Garrison Institute's accommodations FAQ. That one provides a link to the Garrison Institute website where you can find additional information on the specifics of what to expect at that particular location. If you're looking for just kind of more in-depth information, the Garrison Institute website provides a great variety of resources. So that is the hub. And from here, you will find the links to actually apply or nominate an elder. And that is going to take you to our submittable website, which I will let my colleague Kinsey talk you through.
All right, thanks, Alex. So when you get to our submittable website, you'll see the 2 applications that are currently open. Or the 2 forms, I should say. And we're going to take a look at both of those right now. The first one here is our participant application. So if you're looking to attend the retreat yourself and want to complete the application, this is the form for you. It does come with a little bit of information at the top about the retreat and all of these very important dates and deadlines. Again, Alex had mentioned that we have a Google Doc version of all of the questions, so you can access that here. I'll just show you what it looks like. And you'll just note very big at the top in yellow, this is not the application itself. We provide this resource because some folks like to make a copy. Oh, I'm realizing this might be the old version, so I'll update that in a moment. You'll want to go to File, make a copy, then you can make your own Google Doc version of the application questions here, so you can prepare your answers in a separate document if that's helpful to you. Now, Submittable does have the option to save drafts of your application, so it's not necessary that you prepare your answers in a separate document. But if that is preferable to you, you have the option to just prepare it in this questions document here. And then again, all of those very important dates there. So we'll just quickly walk through the questions here. Number one is your contact information. So we'll need your name, your address, your phone number and email address. The second section is just a little bit more information about you, confirming that you identify as a Black woman, sharing with us a little bit about your art form or art forms, your role in arts education. We'd like to hear a little bit more on these long format questions about the focus of your work. Please note that there are word limits on all of these questions. It is our intention to make this application process as brief and easy for you all as possible. This is why we have these short word limits. We don't want folks spending hours and hours on their applications. You should be able to get through this, I think, probably in about 30 minutes. Is that right, Danny? Great. We'd love a short bio about yourself, just to get to know you more. Any links to your website or social media handles that you would like to share. And you're invited to upload up to 2 additional supporting documents. So you can share your resume if you're a writer, some writing samples, any articles or things featuring you. That's an invitation there. And oh, we do ask for a headshot or an action photo of yourself. So we do use the bios and headshots or photos of the accepted attendees to put on our retreat attendees website that will be built once folks have been accepted. So that's a real hub for all of the information in terms of itinerary and next steps and information on joining us, where we're going to be meeting and things like that for all folks who are accepted to the retreat. We also want folks who are accepted to have a chance to kind of get to know some of their fellow attendees before actually meeting in person, which is why we share the photos and bios. And then we'd love to know how you heard about this opportunity. And then we move to the third section, which has a few more of those long format answers and is more about health and wellness. So just a few questions here. Are you committed to the individual and collective healing of Black women? Have you previously attended the retreat? As Danny noted, if you have, that does not mean that you can't do it again. We just like to know. The first long format question in this section is, have you attended another wellness retreat? If so, where and what kind? So just kind of want to hear about your previous wellness retreat experience, if you have any. Why are you interested in attending this wellness retreat? And for this answer and for all other answers, brief bullet points are accepted. So feel free to answer in the format that is makes most sense to you. And then how do you hope your participation in this wellness retreat will impact you personally and or professionally? And again, brief bullet points, totally fine. You'll notice that we have a little bit more wiggle room here in these responses for these last 3 questions. And then just confirming some logistics before you submit your application. We would just like you to confirm whether or not you would need assistance making travel arrangements to and from the New York City area if you are accepted to the retreat. And again, there's just a longer notice here explaining that travel from New York City via Metro North to and from the Garrison Institute is on the Roundtable. If you are planning to do any other travel, for example, coming from Florida, your travel to the New York City area is up to you to arrange and pay for yourself. But if you have questions or need assistance making travel arrangements, we are here to help. Last, we do want to note that We are following the COVID-19 regulations and policies of the Garrison Institute, and their policy is that all retreat participants are required to submit a negative COVID-19 self-administered test that should be taken within 48 hours of the beginning of the retreat. So that is the Garrison Institute's policy, which we will be following. Logistics on that will be communicated to accepted attendees at a later time, but we just want to be very upfront and clear that that is something that we will be requiring for folks to attend this retreat in person. So we'll ask for you to agree to that ahead of time. And then just got some space there to leave any information or requests for accommodations or accessibility related notes for your stay if you were to be accepted. And then you'll click submit. Now, again, if you're working on your answers in this form itself and you need to step away, just make sure that you save draft. I would personally click that button after scribing any answer whatsoever, just so that it continues to save your work. Or again, if that feels too dicey or risky for you, just go ahead and make a copy of that Google Doc version up here. So that is the participant application. We'll very briefly look at the second form here, the Wellness Retreat Elders Nomination Form. This form is shorter. This is for anyone who wants to nominate an elder to attend the retreat. So again, you have information up here. The most important is the requirement for who qualifies as an elder to be nominated. So we are specifically looking for Black women who are 55 years of age or older and have a demonstrated commitment to the field of arts education with 20 plus years of experience. You have our timeline here again and access to another Google Doc version of the nomination form questions if you would like to prepare your answers in that separate document. So we'll ask you to share the nominee's first and last name, the information that you know about the nominee and their connection to arts education. We ask that you provide a short bio about the nominee to get to know more about them. If you don't have one or if you're not able to find one, you can also provide a link to their website or social media, any other supporting resources that'll help us to kind of get to know a little bit about the nominee. I want you to confirm that they are a Black woman and they're 55 years or older. And then we leave an open question for you to share why you believe this woman should be attending the retreat. We do ask if they've attended before, and you can say, I'm not sure. If you're not, that's totally okay. Then we ask for your name and contact information as well. And while we know that you cannot agree to this for your nominee, we just want to share upfront again the COVID testing policy. So that's listed there, and it's something that we will connect with the nominee if they are accepted about after the application and nomination process has concluded. If they're accepted, we'll connect with them about the COVID policy and all of the other logistics and policies to get them to the retreat if they are interested in attending. And that, I believe, is that.
I just wanted to add one thing to that, Kenzie, just to note that for those who are nominating an elder, if your elder is chosen or selected to attend the retreat, then we would email the nominator. So that email that you list is very important because I will then contact you to make a connection between you and the nominee.
Thank you.
Of course. And then from there, we would talk logistics with the person if they accept the position. So with that overview of our website and our submittable platform for application and nominations, we wanted to take some time to open the floor. Are there any questions that are coming up for folks? Any more deep dives that you may be interested in, or do you have any personal questions about your own application or nomination form? And feel free to unmute or list anything in the chat, as well as if nothing is coming up for you right now, that my email is also listed. You can use the bwwr@roundtable email, or you can use my email, dchris@nycaieroundtable.org to ask anything or further inquire, and I will be sure to get right back with you. Also, if you need any assistance about the application in itself and how to complete, I'm always open for that as well. Great question. Is there an age limit? There is not. Yeah, absolutely no age limit. Um, of course, for nominations, we just ask that they are of the 55 or plus range. If elders are interested in attending but not being nominated, they are also welcome to apply themselves. But there's absolutely no age limit. Thank you for that question. Any last outstanding questions? Yay, thank you so much, for sure. And we hope that you also share this information with other folks you may think may be interested in applying. And we'd love to have you there. So just want to leave you with a few closing reminders just to think about the timeline from today all the way to the start of the retreat and some dates that we think may be helpful for you to remember. So again, applications and nominations are open until June 7th at 11:59 p.m. via Submittable. So get on those applications, even if you just answer your name today and then click save the draft and keep going. It'll be there in the file, and we encourage you to start that process for yourself or someone else. Application and nomination decisions are announced via email on Friday, June 28th. So between June 7th and June 28th, just a reminder that the Black Women's Wellness Retreat Committee will be, which is a peer community, will be reviewing these applications based on a rubric of thinking about, the weaknesses and strengths between each application, highlighting the commitment to arts education, highlighting their needs of this experience, and most importantly, their time and investment to the wellness practice for themselves.
Danny, if I
Uh,
could add, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Please, for
To
sure.
add one thing about the decisions. So I
Mhm.
know when those are announced via email, I know that you send a personal email from like your email address,
Mhm.
but then Submittable will also send an email to folks with their determination. So it has happened in the past with our Submittable application processes that one or both of the emails will end up in someone's spam folder if they have certain settings on their email. So if it is past Friday, June 28th, and you don't think that you have received a determination, check your spam, but also you can just log into your Submittable account and you'll be able to see your determination there as well.
For sure. Thank you for that note, because we always know that technology is not always our friend. So please, you will hear from me, but just figure out where it lands on June 28th. And as well as June 28th, that will be the time that if you are not unfortunately accepted in the first pass, that the standby list will also open, and you can begin adding your information to that if that applies to you. And the standby list will be open until 2 weeks prior to the departure of their retreat, so that one, folks know that what they're doing within 2 weeks, if that is a possibility, but also for the sake of us doing our final count and information to the Garrison Institute. And then, drum roll, Friday, September 6th through Sunday, September 8th will be the 2004 retreat that will be held at the Garrison Institute. So this is kind of like a timeline from this point to get us to the retreat. And then of course, know that all throughout June until September, you will be hearing from me along with my colleagues at Roundtable about updates, information, and ways to connect and prepare for the weekend. Hey, if no further ado, would love to thank you for your time today. Most importantly, for your interest in the Black Women's Wellness Retreat. It doesn't happen without the community. And also want to thank you and uplift you for your work as Black women arts educators, because we are vital in this world. And so the opportunity for us to take um, the opportunity to do this for ourselves is also a step that we should acknowledge and celebrate, because we deserve wellness just as much as anybody. So I look forward to reading all of your applications, receiving all of the nominations, and joining in with you on some much needed convening. Right. So until the next time we come together, it has been a pleasure being in community with you. Please, again, do not hesitate to reach out to me at any time. And I look forward to staying in community with you.